Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill. How are you, sir?
I'm tired. I went to a concert last night with my son, so got in
Okay.
late, and so this feels early.
What concert was it?
I don't know how, but they found me.
That's
They're
the
a
name of the
spin,
band?
yeah, they're a spinoff of Panic at the Disco,
Oh, wow.
and they
Okay.
have been for a while.
Interesting.
They're actually pretty big. This is my third time to see them.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. I have all the questions.
yeah.
Let's just jump in. Okay.
Sweet.
I've never heard of this band, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Third time. Okay, so are you a fan or are you going to support just your son?
Yes, the first time I went just to go with my son to a concert because that's he
Yeah.
wanted to go see them, and I was just hanging out with him, and I liked him when I saw him, and I was like, "These guys are pretty solid. I like these guys." And that lo and behold, they've come through Dallas a couple times um,
Hmm.
over the last 12 months to the House of Blues, which is a pretty easy venue to just slide in and out of. So
Okay.
we went once on our big trip to around the West. It was one of our stops. They were on
Okay.
tour there, and then I've seen them here twice local. So,
Nice.
oh, good call. Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, thank you, Dylan. Good morning, Mike. Um, So I've heard that Panic does a pretty big live show, that
Yeah,
it's like a big production and stuff like that. Does that carry over into this offshoot band as well?
it does. It does. They do it up pretty big. They had probably let's see, one, four, five. They had 5 or 7 LED boards behind them,
Oh,
and they
wow.
had not. They obviously have all the standard tropes of a band, a live band show of the smoke and the different things like that, but
Sure.
they're hilarious, man. That's kind of part of their shtick is they are just kind of funny, dry,
Okay.
but like just funny in between to every third song or so.
Okay.
And it's hard to explain. They're kind of like Panic at the Disco in that they're kind of that goth rock kind of
Mhm.
feel, but also poppy at the same time because they get the
Yeah.
synth and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it's a lot of fun, especially when you can go to someplace like Castle Blues or like a smaller venue like that where there's a
Yeah.
thousand people there and
I've
everyone
never
knows the
been
songs.
I've
So
never been to House of Blues.
oh, it's good. It's great. I think it's like 1,200 maybe total,
Okay.
and they have seats upstairs. So downstairs it's like
Ooh.
800 maybe.
Okay.
So it's a really nice size venue.
So is your daughter not a fan?
I mean, yes, I mean like some songs, but that's not who she wants to go see. She wants to go see like Harry Styles or
Okay.
those type of people. Kind of more
Okay.
standard 13-year-old girl stuff.
Interesting. Very fair.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm actually looking. That's my next is I'm gonna try and get Harry Styles tickets for the next time he's in town.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah,
I've not really been following that. Like, I know the name Harry Styles, but obviously, but I'm not up to date on pop and lots of the new music. And it makes me
yeah.
feel old, honestly, right?
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, yeah.
I
My
wouldn't.
daughter,
I
my
wouldn't.
daughter also likes Harry Styles, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still just over here listening to like gangster rap and
Oh,
hard
sure.
hip
Like De
hop
La
and stuff.
Soul. That's
Yeah,
what's doing on mine, like
yeah, it's crazy. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
like
It's fun. It's one of the things that when your kids become teenagers that you can choose to be a part of or not, and I just always was
for
like,
sure.
I'm gonna, like, try and get into whatever they're into, and,
Yeah,
we talk about that, right? Is that to me, the best way I can be a good dad is to at least try and show some interest, and surprise, I actually like some of the stuff they like too now because they
yeah.
have good taste.
Yeah, I can remember, my mom was not super happy about the fact that I was listening to hip hop music, and so when I brought home Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style,
Yeah.
borrowed it from a friend, my mom was less than thrilled because at the
Mhm.
time in the house that we were living in, I was, like, living on, like, the landing, right? So I didn't have a third wall. So I borrowed this tape, I sneak it into the house, right? I
Okay.
go up to my room that doesn't have a door or fourth wall on it, and I plug in my headphones, but I don't plug the headphone jack in far enough, right? And so it only makes connection with the first ring, right? So I start playing this tape and I'm like, "Oh, it's not very loud. I need to crank this." So I crank it and it starts booming throughout the entire house,
Oh,
right?
man.
So all of a sudden, I'm like Sally from the Valley, and then my mom is just like in my doorway with her hand on her hip, like, "What are you listening to?" And huh? what, but
Yeah. How do you?
yeah,
What do you?
there was a good song and a half that just blared out
Mm.
over the speakers. So my grandmother heard it, my mom heard it, everybody heard it. Everyone was very confused that John was listening to such gangster filled rap. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I was not allowed in my house for sure. It was absolutely stuff I had to
Oh,
listen to at my friend's house
she
to
was
get
so
away.
mad. And then in high school, like my mom would rather me listen to 311, which has got like a lot of like pod references and everything, than listen to like hip hop, right? Like it was just like a weird kind of like blind spot.
Stereotype, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a stereotype.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say blind spot to give my mom the benefit of the doubt, but
Uh,
you know,
oh, we all
either way.
have stereotypes too. That's
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
that's
So
that's awesome.
I got back about like 11:30 or so,
Okay,
which is
so
late for
not
me.
terribly late, but yeah,
Well, for me.
yeah. If you have really great sleep habits, then my, Alice a lot last night came to the bed, which hasn't happened in years, right? So all of a sudden, I wake up and like Melissa's like right next to me, and I'm like, oh, I'm hot, move over, kind of thing. And there was no place to move because like the kid was in the bed, so it was a little,
Oh,
it was a
actually
little
came to
bit.
bed. Okay.
Yeah, like Ashley was in the bed with us, so I'm
Hmm.
a little sore this morning from sleeping weird, and I'm gonna need to do some movement and mobility today
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Was it like a nightmare situation, or do we know yet? You haven't had your sleep
I don't know
investigate?
yet. Like
Yeah.
I sleep so heavily, right?
Mhm.
That it drives Melissa nuts because I'll start a conversation with her and then she'll just look up and then I'm out. I'm just out asleep, like not quite
Same.
snoring, but not far from it.
Yeah.
And so I wake up and I'm like, okay, am I going to the couch? Like, what is going on? And Melissa was like, no, it's fine. And so we just went back to bed. So I don't know the whole story yet. I woke up this morning, okay, and did this. So I haven't even had the breakdown yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, interesting.
Yeah. Um. So we have some things to talk about for today.
Yes, I just noticed I've got the band on from last night. It never
I'll
came off.
I'll never forget. I was working at Saltgrass Steakhouse. This is a long time ago. This is probably 2004. Yeah, because Melissa and I had just moved in together,
Yeah.
and I just got a job at Saltgrass, which I didn't last very long at, and the my first day was with one of the managers that I'd not met as part of the hiring process, and he had a stamp on the back of his hand. And me being the observant, curious guy that I am, hey man, did you have a good time last night? And the guy's like, what? I was like, you went out last night, right? Because like I could see the stamp on his hand, and he goes, oh yeah, like and he was like super awkward about it, and I was like, man, no, I saw the stamp on your hand. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I thought you were there somehow. And I'm like, no, like,
That would be weird.
yeah, this is the weirdness of John before like sales coaching and sales training and like all of the stuff that I've been through, because I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Let's just have a conversation about that. Not everybody wants to have conversations about the things that I find interesting. So
Yeah, well, especially
yeah,
without context. Not
yeah,
like,
exactly.
"Hey, is
Oh
that
yeah,
stamp on your hand because you went outside or you went out last night?"
yeah.
You just jumped right into, "Hey, did you have a good time?"
Yeah, and this guy has no idea who I am. Like I'm
Yeah,
the new hire that he has to
right.
figure out like what day of training I'm on. Like
Yeah,
that's how new I was. So,
yeah, yeah.
man,
Okay.
that's hilarious. Um
Well, it's off now.
There you go. There you go. Now you're back to being like an adult. It's all
I
good.
can conduct business now.
Yes, exactly. You're gonna like try to slide back in today. I don't even know who's playing, but man, I got a band. It's gonna be all right.
That's right. That's right. That's all I'm working on.
Oh
Yeah,
man, so I'm really kind of stoked to get back into like a week, like a regular week, because last
yeah,
week with traveling and everything, and like yesterday, like Saturday and Sunday are my kind of gaming days to kind of get back into like a routine and everything. Man, I was fitful to is the only word I could think of, right? So I did like a super, this is gonna sound super weird, did a super long meditation yesterday and did some like thoughtfulness journaling and everything else like that, and felt better about it. But I'm excited to kind of get kind of buttoned back up and into like a week of less chaos, more stability.
yes, yes, that makes sense. It
Yeah.
is. It's yeah. It's like you have the holiday. Was it 2 weeks ago? Labor Day, a short week that
Yeah.
one, and then you have
hmm
a travel week. So it's almost like September's weird.
Yeah. for sure. I'm bringing someone onto my team today to essentially like sales support. This woman and I have worked together a couple of times on a couple of different projects, and she's awesome, hyper communicative and everything. And like this is so weird. This happens to me so many times to where like I'll get super, super, super busy, and I'm like, okay, I need to bring some people in. I need to bring some people on. It's good. And this kind of cyclical nature that I go through inside of my business of being
Mhm.
swamped and then not being swamped and stuff like that. So we work together. She's always been like super present and aware. She likes setting appointments and doing things like this. So the goal this time is to bring her in and actually teach her like Sherpa and like how to be support for me, because the goal is to have her full time, because I don't see myself kind of going back down to the levels that I was, right? We have other things we want to build. I have other goals to do and stuff like that. So I'm gonna be working on that this week, which I'm excited about. I'm also very this is weird. I was talking about this with Dan, my one of my video coaches. I have all this content from this thing, and I'm nervous that we're going to screw it up, or that, or, excuse me, I am going to screw it up by like not doing a good job of promoting it, editing it, getting it together, stripping out stuff that make people want to go watch the full thing and stuff like that. So that's an interesting space to be in, of feeling like I've got this kind of duty to the content, duty, to make sure that it shows up in the right way, and that
Yeah.
we put it out there the right way, because these people took time with me to sit down and share nuggets with me. I want to make sure that we do that stuff justice. So that's kind of a weird thing to have like looming over me.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely have that, because you've said that more than once, I think, too, to me, and that you want to make sure that this comes out the right way.
yeah, like
And then the way that you received it, that was so cool, that you want to deliver
yeah,
it in a way that's equally as
I
valuable.
don't care. I don't really care about growth or views or how big it gets or anything else like that. I just wanted to do a very good job of highlighting these people who took time to sit down. It's a
Yep.
very interesting spot.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the challenges of being a content creator too, right? It's because when you curate, it's not
Yeah.
yours necessarily.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
yeah, for sure. Well, do you have a plan for it? I mean, like, you kind of know how you want to roll it out?
I think that what we're going to do is we're going to strip out some because I asked some very recurring questions, right? And so I think that what we're going to do is put little clips of the recurring questions, like, do you like permissive based openers, right? And got some really cool people talking about those things. So we might put all that together. And then I got some
Okay.
people talking about, like, how do you deal with keeping it fresh and keeping it fun and staying consistent. And so we might kind of put all those things together. But I think we're going to kind of put um, I haven't talked to my video guy, but this is what I've been thinking about, is like kind of like sectioning it out by like salespeople, leaders, content creators, and marketers, right? Just kind of have like the chapters for that and for each person and stuff, so that way it's kind of coherent, kind of like
Yeah,
what we're doing. But I think we're going to put it all in one big video is going to be like the final asset, but we'll see.
that would be cool. That'd be cool to have on YouTube, like a mashup of your interviews,
Yeah.
all the stuff, but then chop it down into little subject pieces for
Yeah, because I mean, at
social.
20 videos at I mean, most of them are about 8 minutes, right? If we take the average, right? Because some of them, like the sales ones went longer because there's more to dive into, because I know it better, right? And the marketing is more like me just kind of like learning and keeping it, within a reasonable time frame. So call it 8 to 9 minutes on average, right? 20 of them. Now we're
Mhm.
looking at, a fairly long video, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what, is that like 2 hours? It won't be 2 hours after we go through and we cut me out, because like you can't see me in any other video, right? But you can hear me in some of it. In some of it, it's weird. I have my live mic set up the exact same way in all of them, but I feel like it picks it up better in some of the videos than other ones. But we'll deal with that another time. So I think that like it's going to be a fairly long video once it's all kind of put together. So if we don't do a good job of creating some snippets to make people want to go watch the whole thing,
Sure.
it's going to be like that super long 4-hour podcast about like Musashi's Five Rings, which is one of the coolest conversations I've ever been in, but no one is going to watch it because of just like how long it is, right?
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah,
That's what it's interesting, because that's kind of like a known trick in content, if you will. I say, trick with quotes, is to
hmm
put some sort of snippet that's cool from a a piece of content that you've been either part of or done or conducted, and then that'll make people want to go watch the piece of content. But I find myself, it doesn't work on me anymore. Not very, unless I'm like really, really interested in the guest or the subject itself. And maybe that is the idea, right? Like I think maybe for me, at least subconsciously, I'm like, hey, if I get a cool clip from this, it's going to entice people to go, oh, there must be other good stuff in here, right? But then
Yeah.
I myself find myself going, oh, that was a fun clip. I'm not going to watch it. You know?
Man, it was so weird because I talked to Will Aiken at the event, got to like meet
Yeah.
him and hug on him, and it was rad. And talking to him, he is like he watches more YouTube than he does any TV platform, right? And I think that's indicative of like people younger, right? Because my
Yeah.
daughter's the same way. Like
Yeah.
she would much rather have just like her YouTubers on. She follows a science guy named Mark Rober. She follows an
Yep.
artist and a couple of other people, and she would much rather have that on in the background than like any of the shows that we're watching or any of the shows that she loves or anything. So, I think it's just maybe one of those things to where we're not in the target market anymore.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, and I'm actually 50-50, I watch a lot of YouTube because I do have YouTubers that I really, really like.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't subscribe to a lot of the streaming stuff anymore because I have the same problem I have. I got old man, like I'm not paying that much for cable, like
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
got the same thing with streaming now where I'm like, I'm not paying for 9 streaming
Oh
platforms
man,
now.
we pay for like it's kind of funny how many we pay for because and then
Yeah,
have somewhere I share. So like I get mine, they get their or they get mine, I get theirs kind of deal and
right,
stuff like that.
right.
But like yeah, like Will was talking about how he pays for YouTube Premium, and I'm like, you pay for no ads on YouTube? And
I did that.
he goes, yeah, man,
Yeah.
I get no ads and I get the music service and it's the same cost as Spotify.
Yep.
And I'm like, maybe I need to look into this kind of thing. So I don't know. Good Lord. You okay? You're muted now.
Yeah, that was a sneeze. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you sneezed and then hit mute.
No, I hit mute. I did. It just delayed. Isn't that funny? No, I hit it and I watched it go dark. It just the red slash didn't go through it. I was like, we're too late. Here it comes. And then when I got back, I just hit the button. Okay, so yeah, I actually did YouTube Premium for a year, and I loved it because but I'm driving again to go see clients and doing different things like that. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna switch to Spotify Premium instead, so I don't have to
Okay.
do ads with my music when I'm driving and podcasting and stuff. So, but no, man, you're right. It's completely a generational thing, and
So what services would are a must for Jake? Like what subscriptions are non-negotiable? Got to pay for?
as far as streaming
Yeah, or
and
just
stuff
or
like
just
that,
anything, right? Because like
yeah.
I have always looked at the YouTube Premium as a gimmick that no one pays for. So
Oh
whenever Will
no,
was
dude.
like just so happy to
Mm-mm.
talk about how he pays for it, I was like, whoa, maybe there's something to this.
Well, I think it is use case, right? Because like I really watch almost as much YouTube as I do
Hmm.
streaming because I really do have people that I watch hours of their content. I think that's where you cross over, right? Because if you're just one of those YouTubers that's like, hey, I'm gonna go see what's on there and see what I can find.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not something that's really worth it. But like, I literally have a subscription, subscribe, right? I have a
Hmm.
subscription list of 25 people on YouTube that I like their content, and I will go check daily to see if they have new stuff out, and if they do,
You
I'll
check
watch it.
daily.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's easy
Whoa.
because you just open the app and it shows you what's launched new in your subscription, so you can just in less than 10 seconds see if there's anything there worthwhile. But
Huh.
if I go sit down to relax to watch something, I
Hmm.
check YouTube. I don't just go look up what's on streaming.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's why I think once you've kind of crossed over into that, YouTube is a streaming platform in my eyes now. I guess like if I'm just categorizing things, like it's
Ooh.
still YouTube where I can go find
Yeah.
things, a search engine, but it's also a streaming platform in my mind now. There are people there that stream or that have content.
Interesting.
So especially,
It's still not quite there for me, I think, in my head. Like
yeah,
to me, it's still if I want to go figure something out, I'm going to YouTube kind of thing.
yeah,
But it
yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
really crossed that, because there's shows like Hot Ones that we enjoy and stuff like that. But it's not like, okay, let's go down the list of our favorite, creators. Yeah, that's interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I guess it's also generational because my kids watch YouTube, and so now they've shown me some things on YouTube, and so
Yeah.
now, and like one of the things that me and my kids do is talk about shows, or we talk about different things like that, and so there's so many people now who have channels that review shows, like
Yeah.
we'll watch those. So I'll sit 25 minutes and watch two guys talk about a Star Wars episode, and because me and Jackson will talk about all the Easter eggs that come up, and like just stuff around shows. And so it's like that's actually one cool thing I really like about what's happened with YouTube is it's almost become, I mean, this is showing my age too, it's not fireside chat, but like there's a lot of channels now that literally what they do is they sit down and talk about things together on YouTube. Like they'll watch other things, they'll watch other people do things, but they'll sit down and talk about it, and that's the channel. Right. So that's really interesting. And it's all over. It's not just like Marvel, Star Wars, it's politics, it's like you name it, go across the board.
Yeah.
There's channels like that now. So
Hmm.
I think that's interesting stuff. It's just how the world has pivoted, right? To everyone
Yeah,
being
for
online.
sure.
So guess what? We're just starting to do things that we used to do offline, we're doing online together now.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far as to your question though, like specific things I have to have, I don't have a ton of those. Like
Okay.
even Spotify like is a nice to have, not a have to have, right? Because as soon as
Oh
I stop
man.
driving, I'm not paying for that again. I'll just skip the ad, like I'm not going to sit there and pay for the premium.
I've been a Spotify member for like 5 or 6 years now. Like, won't miss it, honestly. And and I say won't miss it. It's on a subscription, so it's not like I have to put in a lot of effort to get billed for it or anything. But Spotify is something that I don't mess with. It's just always on. I had 2 Netflix accounts for like a year because I
Yeah.
don't know if I got hacked or if it was tied into something else. So that was rather interesting. Audible is another one that like I won't that I've just had the entire time. So like I was talking to someone. I am just as excited about my like Audible collection as I am like my actual library of books
Oh,
and stuff
really?
like that. Yeah, man, like so many like because Audible is kind of like a buffer, right? Because some of these books that I want to go read are like Thinking Fast and Slow, which is a phenomenal book, but good lord, is it a slog? Like,
Mhm.
it's written by maybe the nerdiest economist ever, right? So like, it's not really made for easy reading. So I have the book on the shelf, but I went and I was struggling with the book, so I went and got the audio, right? And the audio makes it easier. And so now I kind of do that thing in reverse. A lot of first reads are on Audible, and then if I'm like, ooh, that's going to hit the shelf, that's going to be something I talk about with clients and everything, then I'll go buy like the hardbound version of it. And if I'm
Okay.
just reading for like, if I'm reading any kind of philosophy or anything else like that, Stoicism or any of those areas, I always just get the book first, right? So Audible
Okay.
is almost exclusively for like development and business development books, and then my actual reading is more for like philosophy, and then also like the fantasy nerdness that I've not really been reading on in quite some time, which is a bummer. But that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, I like Audible, but I just so prefer a book in hand. And I
I do
learned to
too,
speed
man.
read so early that like if it's a slog, I'll just like chop my way through it real fast and be like, all right, well, I'm not gonna enjoy this one as much, and just yeah.
I go through periods of being like, I'm not like I have 7 credits in my Audible account right now because I've got, I'm not driving at the rate that I used to be, right?
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
part of me is kind of like, maybe dial this back, but I don't know that there is a way to dial it back, which is kind of unfortunate. So I don't really know what to do about it. I'll probably just leave it as it is because whenever I am in that zone, like I just listen to Freakonomics, the book, because I'd been following the podcast for a while, but I never read the book. And
Oh, okay.
Jod, who's in the community, was like, "Hey, you should really go check this book out." He was absolutely right. It kind
Yeah,
of blew me away on a whole other level. Like so many cool things to think about how, and as a sales consultant, how incentivation creates the working environment, right? Because like everyone is like, John, can you bring me a commission only salesperson? Well, let's talk about what happens when you bring on a commission only salesperson. They're not going to be there
right,
when you need them there because of something going in, because you're not paying enough for actual time and attention, right? You're only paying for results. So they're going to work when they want to work, and you don't really have anything to say about it, right? Like, is that going to be okay? Well, no, I don't want that. Okay, cool. Then you need to pay some sort of a base,
right.
or you need to have a culture that's really, really built to sustain commission only culture, which you see like in certain like financial markets, insurance markets, and things like that. It's a badge of honor to move into the commission only thing, and people fight about it. They're like, yeah, I'm
Right.
there, like let me go commission only and stuff like that. But it's a hard thing to build, and you have lots of churn and everything else like that, and most people don't ever build it the right way, right?
Lots of churn.
So lots of churn, right? These huge hiring cohorts, worth like, they might go hire 25 people to get 4 who are going to stay past the first 6 months, and only
Yeah.
1 is going to stay past like 2 years.
Yeah.
And like that is how they're hiring. So if you're okay with that much churn, then it can work out fantastic. But like most people don't have, the processes and the ability to hire in such huge amounts. And also, I don't really think it's the best way to hire salespeople anyway, right?
No,
Because
not really.
it's like this. Well, let's hire a lot, and they can just go out and get it. And it's no one is. I got into an argument yesterday on this. Guy posted the other day that he said this big brick of text, right? The best sellers in the world aren't on here talking about how you can sell better. They're out actually selling, right? He's beating that drum, and all these comments about it and everything. And I was like, are you saying that sales coaching is not effective? Right? Because I don't really understand the point that you're making here, sir. Because like you're either frustrated that people are marketing their products and their services, which is just dumb, or you think that sales coaching and training is not valuable, which is also kind of dumb, right? Because if I tell everybody this, if you don't have a timeline, if you have forever to get good, no one needs a coach.
Right.
But companies, if companies can shave 2 days off of ramp time for reps, everyone is back like fist pumping and being very, very excited, because that means that they're improving as a coaching and training and development center, right? Versus these people who were like, you know what, just go get it, champ, with like a clap on the back. Like these two things are not the same, right? A company is not served by bringing on salespeople and allowing them to go recreate the wheel. It's baffling to me that people think that this is how it has to be done. It's honestly like just astounding. So I put this comment on there, and then this guy goes, well, Mike Tyson's line about everyone has a plan until they get hit in the face. And I'm like, yeah, he had like 6 coaches when he said that line, right?
Yeah.
He had his overall coach. He had a strength and conditioning coach. He had his his diet coach and everything. Like every top tier athlete has got coaches upon coaches upon coaches. And coaching is not about giving you a plan. I mean, it is that, but it's also about setting you up for success in that moment, so that way you can handle the emotional weight of the thing that you're dealing with,
Right. Right. Well, and I mean, we're in a place too, which is it's kind of one of those things where it's cool to be alive. Is the
Mhm.
science is catching up to so many of the old sayings that like n- wives' tales have been debunked, or old coaching advice has been proved correct
Yeah.
by the science. And
Mhm.
so it's like, all these performance books that are coming out now in the last 3 to 5 years are all going, hey, this is really dumb. We kind of knew it, but let me show you what happens to your brain when this goes on. Like,
Yep.
so it's super nice to be in this space where I think obviously people are people and people are going to be dumb because that's what we do as
Yeah.
people. Like I actually shared this the other day that the chaos machines that you call people chaos
Yes.
machines, because it's just so true all the
Yeah.
time. But now the good news is there's arguments that we can be backed by data, where so when someone goes off on one of those rants, you go, oh yeah, have you seen this study? Because
Yeah.
seems science says otherwise.
Well, I mean, into Dylan's point, you put it up there a second ago.
Yeah.
We need to hire 40 people in 3 months because people are promoting so fast. We need to replace them, or they quit because they don't want to work. Good Lord.
It's a pretty wide
Oh,
swing there.
yeah. Like you want to talk about some polar extremes of a range with
Mhm.
nothing being discussed there in the middle. Like my question would have been like, oh, okay, cool. What's the ratio of that? How many people are getting promoted to how many people are not
Right.
cut out to be a good fit? There's
Right.
my question, and then they'll just
Yeah.
flounder around and everything.
Yeah.
But Dylan, in my opinion, you dodged a bullet there, buddy. Like
Yeah.
that would be.
Yeah.
And Levi has worked in a very similar situation, and I almost got hired in one of these like insurance things, and I kind of saw the writing on the wall, and I was like, "Ooh, this is not going to be a good fit for me," and went
I did that in
elsewhere.
my 20s. I've been there. I did that
Yeah.
for almost 9 months for the exact same situation, and it was
Oh, 9 months,
garbage.
man. Wow.
Garbage.
That's a That feels like a very long time these days
Oh yeah.
to be in that kind of spot and to like now I can almost see it from a mile away, right? Is this going to be
Oh
successful?
yeah.
Is there enough support? And the coolest thing about being at this event last week was just talking about how important like leadership and structure is, right?
Mhm.
And so once again, this polarized range, right? Everyone else over here is like trying to get their reps up, right? They're trying to get their reps trained as fast as possible, but like with really great coaching and really great insights, so that way they can do a very good job. And they're trying to like empower their people the right way, and they're talking about like don't don't just go for the hilt on the automation. Really get in there and be personalized, be relevant. Your
Mhm.
timing's got to be on.
Mhm.
And then the other side of things, people are trying to send 2,500 emails a day from Gmail accounts and
Yeah.
pay contract laborers in the Philippines $3 per hour, and
To do that.
it's astounding to me how people just swing on this axis about like how they treat their people. Like it is
Yeah.
baffling to me.
Sure.
I like it puts me on tilt
Yeah.
instantly.
Yeah. For sure. And um Dylan's on a roll over here. He said, "You ask too many questions, you won't fit in well in a cutthroat sales environment." Well, the response to that is, "You're right. I wouldn't if that's what it's like.
Yeah.
So thanks for telling me."
Yeah,
You know?
why are you guys really actually served by like, having a culture that is so cutthroat inside of your organization?
Yeah. Well, and see, I'm to such a point. Maybe that's is also this is old man day, right? For me,
Yes,
it's like I'm
me
like,
too, because I'm purposefully picking the questions that would just
yeah.
nitpick this person in the interview
Well, and
apart.
I'm to the old man point where I'm like, if he says that, I'm like, oh, hey man, thanks for not wasting the rest of my afternoon. I don't have to come the rest of
Oh,
the
for
interview.
sure. Like
I
I would
wouldn't
be
even
like,
begin with the questions you had. I'd be like,
yeah, I
oh,
know.
oh,
Like
okay. See, yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I'm saying, because like in real life I would just be like, "Whoo, see you
yes,
later," right? But just
yeah,
to like mess like
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
I don't like whenever someone is greasing the salesperson, right?
yeah.
Whether that's a sales lead or the hiring person, uncapped commissions. Congratulations, that's what's supposed to happen. How much are people making?
Right.
Well, everyone's making more than me, and all this stuff that people do. Like
Yeah. Too
salespeople
much.
get juiced way more than prospects do. Promise,
Yep.
promise, 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 and
Oh yeah.
it's a really big problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just be ecstatic, But once again, curse the knowledge, being older and not needing the role,
I was
right?
gonna say
It,
not
it is
actually actively looking for a position and wanting to get hired, which
Yes,
makes a big difference.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. That's why my
Um,
dad said you're always looking for your next job. Like, be
for
building
sure.
relationships, be looking for people that might you're looking for places that might be a good place. That way, when you are thinking about leaving or you see the writing on the wall, you can start having those conversations without all the panic that comes
Especially in
with.
sales.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
this is going to sound counterintuitive because I do sales recruiting, but like if you're a salesperson and you're not keeping your options open, the only thing you're going to do is make yourself an emotional mess if your pipeline goes dry, if the person becomes to be a tyrant or because you don't have any other options, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
just like depth of your pipeline removes the emotional investment into any one of your deals, having multiple options. So then whenever your boss shows up and like, yeah, we're gonna have to
yeah,
change the commission structure. Okay, cool. I gotta go.
yep, yeah,
Sorry.
yep,
Right? It like
yeah,
volume removes emotion. Options remove emotion. So make sure you have some options, or else you're going to find yourself held hostage in a role that you're not happy with, like
yeah,
fundamentally.
yeah, yeah. And you know what's ironic is my dad's very much very loyal. Like he stuck with companies for a long time in his career, and so it's not like he was always looking for a back door or a side out.
Hmm.
He just knew that's how it works, you
Yeah.
know?
Know your value is
Mhm.
really kind of what it breaks down to. And man, um, I've always been the guy who's had lots of jobs. Like whenever I would play poker with my buddies, they'd be like, "Oh, who's John selling for now?" Right? And quite often it was for a new company, right? But it's also sales. Like sales get a fraction of the grace that other people do, right? Because it's so tied to like outcomes, and so many people have the weirdest views about it and stuff like that.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
if they're not willing to kind of like openly and honestly talk about the work environment, Dylan, it's a grift shop.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's for sure. But once again,
Pure
when you're looking
grifters.
for a job, you read into, "Oh, maybe he's having a bad day. Oh, maybe da 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 da."
Yeah,
So, it's a good thing for sure.
absolutely. Yeah, you dodged a firing squad, Dylan. Not even one bullet, I would say, is what that
Yeah,
sounds like.
Yeah. You got rid of one spot on your CV or your resume that you didn't need.
Yes,
One less
absolutely.
listing you
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah, that's one less uncomfortable conversation about a very short-term sales thing on your resume.
That's right. That's right. It'll actually help you get that next good job if you have so many garbage pieces to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we should probably talk about what our new schedule, our format's looking at. Like we
Yes, we
talked about it a
should.
little bit last week,
Mhm.
but
Well, we're changing it again, right?
right. So I mean, we started
Okay.
kind of the conversation last week, but
Yeah.
kind of going down to a few days a week. But you know, let's talk about the why first, because I know you and I both talked about this being something that we love doing and talking about stuff, but
Mhm.
also wanting to provide value and also be able to commit to something that it doesn't interfere with the family time and the different things we got going on at the house and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
we love we're kind of junkies, like 5 days a week, kind of just getting our fix, on air. But
It was I was talking with someone at the event, right? Because I met these people who have a very similar show to us, right?
yeah,
And they're like, "How often are you guys doing the show?" And I was like, "Well, it was daily, but
mhm.
we just moved it back to 3 days a week." And they were like, "Oh, just 3 days a week?" And I was like,
Yeah,
like, and it's weird because um I don't know if anyone has picked up on this, but like we don't really do a whole lot of preparation for the show, right? So like we we show up, we talk about what's on the
what?
days, we don't really pull any punches. I've already gotten in trouble a few times because of things that I've said in here in a relaxed environment that I need to go provide clarity on, which I'm okay doing. But I you know, I'm just talking with Bill. Like
Sure.
this is
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
what it is, kind of thing. But there is this pressure to show up and have something to talk about, something that is going to provide a value or a nugget, because I'm not foolish enough to think that people, that was a big stutter,
yeah.
on an F word, which doesn't normally happen.
Hmm.
I'm not foolish enough to think that people are just like wanting to like watch us chat, right? So like
Right.
I do think there's a little bit of pressure to bring something that is going to help somebody else out. And then yeah, there is also the time of can we do it well and consistent and everything else like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So what we've talked about is going Mondays and Fridays, because that
Mondays and
we can
Fridays.
cap the end, cap the week. So Monday we come in, we talk about what's going on, we try and share some interesting things that we learned the week before and set up for the week that's coming. And then on Fridays, try and bring in, be really intentional about bringing in good guests that can help stuff
Yeah,
out, and then end our week because I one of the things that I enjoyed about the last version of this show was the accountability that we did on air,
yeah,
about sharing things. So looking about bringing a little bit more of that back, maybe not
yeah. We've
specifically
been
the same
slipping on
way.
that a little bit. Like I think our accountability has gotten really. I think it's improved, but it's not showing up here on the show,
Right.
if that makes sense, right? So like,
Yeah.
we were kind of going back and forth on Friday about like, how do we make the changes and all this other stuff. So like I think our accountability between us is like at and high. We're just not doing the best job of like showing it here. And
Right.
partially because like a lot of the accountability has been kind of like around the show because
Hmm.
when we relaunched the show, we were only talking about doing Jake's first 90 in this new role, right?
Hmm.
Like him coming in as a leader and doing these things. And then because of this, right? Like I don't know if it's causation or correlation, but
Right.
you know, you've already got a promotion. You've already been moved up in the organization and stuff like
Hmm.
this because you've been showing up and doing the things that you want to do. And I'm only
Yeah.
taking like 60% of the credit for that,
Yeah.
which is like super nice. I'm just kidding, dude. I'm not taking 60% of your promotion. Come on, man. Like, see, he wasn't ready for that one, guys, and it just
Go
right
right
over.
over. That's right.
Um, so this was going to be the first 90, but people like the show. People are getting value from it. Like it's very cool in Sherpa Slack that I'll get DMs from people and they've seen an episode and it was helpful, right? Especially showing the bad side of this, right?
Yeah.
Because LinkedIn is filled, and so is Facebook and so is Twitter with these like entrepreneurial posts where like it's all like sunshine and rainbows. Like there's some heavy stuff of being an entrepreneur. It can be incredibly lonely. Like you can make your goals badly. Like you can never find success or anything. And like that's the thing that we're trying to do here. So my
Yeah.
only concern about going back to 2 days a week, and you and I discussed this, but I'm just putting it out there, is we lose some of that kind of behind the scenes nature of showing everybody like the real stuff of
Right.
doing this thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the good news is we've been doing it long enough that we can get there pretty quickly. You and I are not afraid to be like, hey, have you seen this? Did you do this? You know, like
Mhm.
it's kind of become the on-air component of the show, is the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah. So that just means that when we wrap up here in a couple minutes, that it'll be Friday before we are back on air.
Yep.
Which
And I've already got a guest for Friday.
nice, love it.
Yes, I'm
Exactly.
coordinating
Love
it right now, actually.
Exactly. So I guess the promotion would be check the social media, right? Like to
Yes.
keep on the page,
Yes.
and that's where we'll share stuff that where our guests are
Yes.
coming on Friday, and anything else that pops up that we want you guys to know about. So
Yeah, I would really invite people to go follow Morning Bill
right,
on the channels that you're watching this thing on, so that way you get a
right.
ping on Fridays, because since it's not going to be happening every day, right? Understandably so, people are going to have other things on their timeline. So
Yep.
Fridays are going to be guests, Mondays are going to be the beginning of the week, how do we stay consistent and everything like that. So please watch both, but go follow Morning Bill on whatever platform you're watching this thing on, whether it's YouTube, LinkedIn,
Facebook.
whatever other ones that we have it going to,
Yeah.
so that way you're up to date on it. Because I think there's some weirdness about trying to output this both to Jake's LinkedIn and my LinkedIn at the same time. So we want to really kind of lean into the Morning Bill page. So go like and subscribe. And I don't like saying all that stuff because I want people
Right.
to do it the way they want to do it. But I think we're going to be talking about this stuff maybe a little bit less on our individual feeds.
Yes. In YouTube world, you would definitely be saying smash that like button and go hit that subscribe
Oh
and
God, I hate that.
ring
Right?
that bell so you get those notifications. You know what to do, y'all.
I
Like
hate that.
I know.
But on the other hand of it, on the other side of it, if you don't tell people if you don't give people a call to action,
Yes.
they most likely won't take action, right?
Exactly. You gotta tell people. Yeah.
I was leaving a
Right.
job. I think I was leaving maybe Chase to go to BBVA, and my kung fu teacher, he knew how much I was struggling in that role, right? And so whenever I put in my notice, he was so excited, and he goes, and I was like, why are you so excited? He was like, things at rest tend to stay at rest,
Yeah.
and like, he just loved that I'd found a way out and that I wasn't going to have to deal with it anymore, and that in his opinion, I was kind of on the senioritis kind of thing for the last 2 weeks. And depending upon who you were asking at Chase, I was on senioritis for a lot longer than that. But yeah, so I just think about that a lot, right? Are we at rest? Or are we in motion?
Yeah.
So
Hey, I did the gym 9 days in a row with my daughter,
holy
and
crap.
I told her on day 6, and she was the one really pushing it. I was like, all right, if you go, I'll go. It was like day 6 or 7, and she was like, I don't think I want to go today, Dad. And I was like, well, what was our goal? She was like 7 days, and I was like, objects in motion. And she go, stay in motion. I said, she goes, okay, let's
Yep.
go.
Yeah. How important is that?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I mean, that's the news, right? Where it's Mondays and Fridays. So stick with
Mondays
us.
and
And
Fridays,
if
hang
you have
out with
guests,
us,
once again, I will ask that if you have guests that you'd like to see on the show, please let us know, because we'd love to
please.
interview people.
Yes.
And then in the meantime, you know where to find us, right? Go ahead us on the socials. Like
Yes.
get in the Slack channel if you're not.
Absolutely.
I'd love to have you.
Please message me. I have one rule about Sherpa Slack. We have to have a call to make sure the vibe is right, because you can either qualify on the front end or you can have churn on the back end. So
Right.
I'm putting, just like how I sell, all my qualification is front loaded.
Yep.
I have not had to ban anybody from the community. I want to keep it that way. So we will be having a Zoom call if I don't know you, to check the vibe and make sure it's a good fit, because that's just how I run my entire life. Friction,
Right. Well,
friction on the front end, front load all that. So
that's right. But that makes for better groups too. I think most people
absolutely
that don't disagree with that. So
who's the
cool,
dude
man.
from RepView? I would love to have Jordan come on the show, actually, to come in and talk about RepView. If anyone, I don't know him that well, so I don't have a problem making the ask, obviously.
Yeah.
But
yeah. It's like, when's that ever stopped you?
Never.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ryan Walsh. Okay, yeah. I think he would be harder to get on the show than wait, is Jordan Rev Genius? Am I mixing these guys up? I haven't had any coffee yet. Yeah, I might be doing everybody a disservice by having my logos and associations all fuddled. Yeah.
Well, you
Okay,
can find
I'll
off
work on
after.
that.
That way you don't
Yes,
have
exactly. Yeah.
to.
Let me pull
Yeah.
up my LinkedIn, guys. Hold on one second.
Yeah, wait, give me a sec.
Yeah.
Hang in here. I need to connect these dots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Everything must pause until John's figured out his data points.
that's right.
So,
That's right. Jared is
yes,
Rep Genius. Got it. Okay. Thanks,
Jared of
Dylan.
Rip
Appreciate
Genius.
it.
Okay, thank you, Dylan.
Cool, man. Well,
Yeah.
anything else today that we need to talk about? You got what's your week look? Actually, just tell me. Let's do the thing, right?
Um.
What's your week look like? Not just your day.
So
What's your week look
my
like?
my goal this week is to make sure I have a lot of time set aside for Christine, who is coming on to the team to help me
Okay.
out on support side,
Okay.
and it's going to be messy, right? Because I don't really have like a role laid out with like a bunch of like preset KPIs and everything because
Okay.
I'm in a very weird space of too much going on, right? Kind of thing.
Okay.
So, and it's not too much, but it like I can't do anything else with what I have going on right now. So I need to bring her in and take some of the stuff off of my plate, and like just like menial tasks or not menial tasks, but like she's got to start out figuring out how to do targeting and prospecting and list building, and then we'll, like my goal is to show her the entirety of it, so that way, right, if we decide to wrap up, she knows as much as I know about like this stuff and how to go do it the right way and everything else like that. Like my goal is that even if I work with someone for, not for forever, right, but for a period of time, that when they leave, they've got the majority of the skill set. So it's kind of the
Mm-hmm.
goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I got that. Have some not makeup, but like being out last week, I didn't do all my meetings like I normally do. So I'm anxious to get back into the kind of flow of that. I get to do a disc kind of breakdown with a team that hired me as part of their like interview process. So I'm going to be going over the results of like the pilot for that and kind of talk
Okay.
about the person that we interviewed. And yeah, and then I have accountability on Friday with Travis and a bunch of lunch club throughout the week, and that's kind of it.
Well, you'll be happy to know I set my lunch club availability after the show.
I got a ping from you that you endorsed
Okay.
me for something on there. I don't know what for yet. I'm gonna go check it out. I'm very curious to see what it is.
I just went through the process. They you know how they actually tell you, hey, do you want to endorse so and so for so and
Yes.
so?
Yes.
And I said yes. That's all I did. But it fit. It had something to do with sales or sales training. So
Okay.
it'll be a good fit, I'm sure. So,
Awesome.
cool, man.
What
All
about
right.
you?
Well, I've got a couple big training sessions with clients this week. I've got a quarterly planning session. I'm actually going to get to run my first one of those,
Oh, nice.
which quarterly
Yeah, that's your
planning.
jam. Yeah.
That's good fun stuff. And then let's see, just a bunch of standard kind of coaching, training activities, and then training of myself, a continued growth as I'm in
Nice.
this role. So I am coming up on 90 days.
Yeah, October 1st, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, technically it's going to be September 29th is what it's going to be.
Okay.
I went back and looked because I started June 29th.
Okay.
So yeah, but we're coming up within a week and a half or so, 10 days.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I feel good. I finally feel almost settled. I think the final cap piece is officially having my own client book.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
once that's finalized, which kind of started last week and will pretty much finish up this week.
Nice.
There we go. We're good to go. We're off to the races, right? Just
Nice.
see how it grows.
Yeah.
So,
what's up, Diggs? Over on Twitch.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I know Diggs. You know Diggs.
I don't know Diggs.
Cool. What's up, man?
He's just
What's
hanging
up?
out with us. So
Awesome.
he's
Well, come back
watching
Friday.
this and not any of the gaming feeds, which is kind of astounding to
Which
me.
is
But
like that's the dark corners of Twitch, the non-gaming portion.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the one
Friday.
platform.
We got a guest. We'll hang out.
Yeah, we're very much the minority on that platform. But
Yes.
thanks for hanging out with us, Diggs.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, anything today?
I don't think so, man. I'm going to be building out a little jiu-jitsu area in the garage today because I'm going to get back into some jiu-jitsu shape, which I'm excited about, and also have conversations about building a wooden dummy to do some Wing Chun practice, which I'm also very excited about. And yeah, so I think my self-care is about to come up a level, which I'm excited for.
Me too. I'm about to get back into some heavier meditation habits. It's been off and on, and obviously I've been hitting the gym real hard, so nutrition's up next for me. So that's the next thing I got to knock down. So.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, good stuff. Everybody have a great week, and we'll talk on Friday. And come see us on social or out in the Slack channel with John. And then in the meantime, you know
Keep
where to find
going.
me. That's right.
Yeah. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, Mike Tile. Thanks, Diggs, for hanging out. You guys are awesome. Have a
Yep,
great
thanks,
day.
everybody. We'll talk to you on Friday.
See you, Bill.